Welcome to another instructional video from Keith and Tom. This series is going to cover taking your artwork, shooting it with a camera, transferring those images from the camera to your computer's desktop, from your desktop burning it to a CD or DVD. We'll also cover other media such as flash drives and storage devices in another series. So, to start off with, we're going to go ahead now and take a look at the camera setup for taking the picture of your artwork, whether it be on canvas or whatever other media. Here we are ready to shoot our image. As I mentioned before, we have a whole section on setting up your image, the camera, using different camera types, different light types, and contrast. We'll go into that in another section. But for the moment, we're talking about capturing the image to a camera and placing it on your computer. We just finished covering the setup of the camera and your artwork to be shot. Now we're going to cover transferring the image that you just shot to your computer, and we're going to place it on the desktop. Again, we have another section on different cameras, different images to transfer, but this one we're going to cover simply for burning. Take your camera, and many of you will be on a different side, but there's going to be a small plastic cover covering the slot for the cable that you received with your camera. One side will be small, the other side a little wide. These are USBs. You're probably familiar with this from your cell phones. They're easily hooked up. So take the small end, you're going to take your camera, open up the cover, and it will fit right on. Make sure it's plugged in secure. Set your camera down in a stable place, and the USB port is going to plug into your computer. Now these can be on the front of your computer, on the top, and on the back. In another instructional video I'll show you how to hook it up to the back. But for time being, we're going to hook it right up to the front. Should be seated in. This is a Windows machine, on Windows and Mac. Once the cameras come on, you may get a menu prompt that says, would you like to open camera in Windows? Feel free to use that. If that does not show up, start, lower left-hand corner, click, go to computer on the right, click on computer, and you'll see your camera. You'll be able to double-click to open the camera. This is going to show it to you as if it was a USB or a flash drive. In essence, that's what it is. Double-click on the name of the camera, S9300. You're going to come to the DCIM file. This is going to either hold one folder or multiple folders. Double-click. That picture was taken on the third folder here. I open it up. Again, it may only be one folder on your camera. When you open up, you should be able to see the image you took. Here's the image of Keith's painting Red Rock Stage. I'm going to take it, simply drag it over to the desktop. Your image should show up fine that you've taken. Now, closing out the camera is a little important because you don't want to damage any data that may be stored on the camera or on the small chip inside that also stores pictures. So just go ahead and X out each individual window. And before we unplug the camera, the last thing that I need you to do, and everybody needs to do, the small area that says Show Hidden Icons, it's in the lower right-hand corner. Your desktop, by the way, will either be showing, or in my case, Keith and I have it hidden so we can pop it up. Again, Show Hidden Icons, click on it, and you will see a small green circle with a white check mark and the USB plug that I just plugged in here. Click on it, and it will say Eject External Hard Drive, and click on that. Once you finish with that, window will close. It's safe now to go ahead and unplug the USB port. Unplug it from the side. Your camera either will shut off or you have to shut it off yourself. That covers taking the image from your camera after you've shot your artwork, transferring it from the camera to the desktop. The next section we're going to cover taking that image and burning it to a CD. Now that we have the image on our desktop, we're going to need to crop it down to size. On this Windows-based machine today, we'll be using Photoshop. I'm going to go ahead and open up Photoshop. We will have a whole section on editing or cropping, adjusting and constraining photos in Photoshop, and another software for Mac and Windows at a later date. Okay, once you're in Photoshop, simply go to File, upper left-hand corner, Open. It's on our desktop. Scroll down until we find it, which is right here. Now, using the Photoshop toolbar, we'll be coming over, cropping the image as close as you can. Hopefully you can see the crop lines on here, but as with all best intentions, it's very hard to get your camera completely in line with the image. So I'm going to crop this close and then pull the image into perfect size. So I'm coming down, bring the bottom up, side in, side in. Now if you can see there's little edges left, I'm going to go ahead and crop in. Control A, we'll select the whole image, go to Edit, Transform, Distort. Now I can take and pull these corners out and they'll lock in place as soon as I pull on them. See it lock? Come and grab this corner, pull it up. Oh, too far. And it locks. Come to the side. Locks. Locks. This is not distorting your image. This is simply bringing it to the cropping lines, keeping it in full aspect ratio. Double click, and the image is ready to go. We will show you again in the other section on how to adjust contrast and different properties and apply filters if needs be. But for the time being, I just simply want to crop the image and get it ready to burn. File, Save As. I'm going to save it to the desktop. Make sure it's JPEG. If you cannot see, say it's Photoshop. Just continue to open up the format till you find JPEG. It'll almost always be in the middle. That is a standard. Again, we'll discuss that in another series. Click on JPEG, title it, Red Rock Stage for demonstration purposes. Hit save. Now in Photoshop it brings up the quality of image you want to set in JPEG. You can slide the slider bar anywhere you want. I suggest going no lower than 10, especially if you're submitting this to a show. You're burning it to a DVD. Set it all the way to 12. This gives you the full image. Leave baseline standard. It's going to show you the size in the corner. This is going to be 4.9 megabytes. Click OK. Close out Photoshop, or the image in Photoshop. We're ready to go. Here's the Red Rock Stage cropped version. Here's the existing photo that we brought in from your... Now we're ready to burn the DVD. Make sure that it's a DVD plus R. If it's a CD, CD plus R. You can't go wrong. Go ahead, get your DVD ready. Make sure it is DVD-R+. This is the part we're going to crop in. Come over. Most of you will only have one DVD player or burner in your computer. This happens to have two. Make sure you're clicking on the one. We'll insert the DVD-R here. Make sure that your burner is a writable DVD, and you can tell simply by seeing the RW symbol on the drive. It'll work for both CDs and DVDs. Open your drive. Set the bottom signy side down. Okay. Insert. Give it a moment here. You're going to have a pop-up that comes up in Windows that discusses, options for you to open up the DVD. We're going to cancel that out as soon as it shows up. There it is. just exit out. Come to your photo that we've cropped and edited, double click on it, go to your image, go to the upper left hand corner to burn. Click on burn, data disk, and here you get to name the file and choose what type of media you're burning it to or saving it to. So for title, we're going to put down, say you're entering this in a future art show. Art for show. And now you get to choose a USB flash drive or a DVD player. Make sure you've checked DVD player, click next, and there's the stage at Red Rock. It's ready to be burned. And your file will show up as files ready to be written to disk, both of them here. So we have Chance Encounter and we have Red Rock stage. To complete this final stage, simply go up to Burn to Disk, click on it, and we have the title that we typed in earlier, Art for Show, the recording speed. You can choose the speed you want here. This is a DVD and it's burning at 16x. Don't worry about that. That's fast enough. Always can pick the fastest name. You'll have other questions asked of you. They're not that important. Close the wizard after files have been burned. That's fine. Click on Next. And now it's going to burn the data file. When it's complete, the drawer will open telling you that everything is done. And the drawer should be opening. The files have been burned. You've successfully burned both images to this DVD. Simply go ahead now, close the drawer, close out your images. You're ready to label the DVD. But let's check to make sure that the burn actually took. So simply put it back in the DVD player. Close the drawer. And you'll have a menu message pop up in a second here. Once the message does show up, which will be a few seconds here, go ahead and close it out. Lower left-hand corner, go ahead and click on Start, Computer, and you'll see your DVD-R with the title Art for Show. Double click on it, and here's your image. Chance Encounters. And you can click on Forward, the next image. Both of our images are cleanly and clearly on here. This is the actual size of the Red Rock image, showing some of its clarity. You can see it's fairly large. Now that we've shown that the work is successful, go ahead and close it out. Title your work, and then simply put it in a nice safe case holder or a sleeve. And that's all there is to burning a DVD for a show or your own delight. Thank you very much.